Good afternoon, Scottie. Thank you for joining us. Before we open it up for questions, is there anything you'd like to say to start?
Yeah. First of all, my sympathies go out to the family, Mr. Mills. I can't imagine what they're going through this morning. One day he's heading to the golf course to watch a tournament, and a few moments later he's trying to cross the street, and now he's no longer with us. So I can't imagine what they're going through. My heart, I feel for them. I'm sorry. My situation will get handled. It was just it was a chaotic situation and a big misunderstanding, and I can't comment on any of the specifics of it. So I feel like y'all are going to be disappointed, but can't comment on any specifics. But my situation will be handled. It was just a big misunderstanding. So if y'all got any questions about the golf today, I'm happy to answer them. But outside of that, I can't really get into what transpired outside of, my heart goes out to the family.
Thanks, Scottie. We'll open up for questions now, starting with Marty on mic 2.
How do you encapsulate everything that happened to you today?
I don't really know. I feel like my head's still spinning. I can't really explain what happened this morning. I did spend some time stretching in a jail cell. That was a first for me. That was part of my warm-up. I was just sitting there waiting, and, I started going through my warm-up. I felt like there was a chance I may be able to still come out here and play, and so I started going through my routine, and I tried to get my heart rate down as much as I could today. But like I said, I still feel like my head's spinning a little bit. But, I was fortunate to be able to make it back out and play some golf today.
Here on 1.
Scottie, what was it like even making the decision to continue to compete today and shifting focus to the task at hand and coming out and shooting 5 under?
Yeah, well, like I said, it was just a huge misunderstanding this morning that'll get resolved, I think, fairly quickly. And I came here for a golf tournament. I was driving in this morning trying to get to my warm-up time and get ready for the round of golf. I didn't really have an understanding of what had transpired this morning. And my main focus after getting arrested was wondering if I could be able to come back out here and play, and fortunately I was able to do that, and it was nice to put together a solid round today for sure.
Dan on 17.
It seemed like the crowds were really behind you, and your fellow players kind of rallied around you. Did you feel the support out there today from your community?
I really did. It was really nice. The fans were tremendous today. I felt like they were cheering extra loud for me today, and it was. I really do. I know sometimes you can't really see it on my face, but I really do enjoy playing in front of the fans. The support I've been getting the last few months out here has been tremendous, and I'm really grateful for it.
Dylan on 18.
How long did it take before the golf felt normal, or did it feel normal at any point once you got out there?
It probably took a few holes to feel normal. Obviously I didn't have my normal warm up, and I'm I usually stick to my routine. I'm a big routine guy, especially when it comes to my preparation. But it took a few holes to settle in, and it was kind of nice just to be out there inside the ropes competing. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do, and so I was fortunate to be able to come out here and do it again today.
Right here, Mark on 4.
Scottie, we've come to know you as a pretty unflappable person out here, not affected by a lot of stuff. Can you describe how rattled you were when you were, and you just referenced, being in a jail cell and whatnot? Just describe that mindset and how surreal that was for you.
Yeah, I was pretty rattled, to say the least. The officer that took me to the jail was very kind. He was great. We had a nice chat in the car that kind of helped calm me down. And I was sitting there waiting to kind of go in. I asked him, I was like, "Hey, excuse me, can you just come hang out with me for a few minutes so I can calm down?" And I was never angry. I was just in shock, and I think my body was I was shaking the whole time. I was shaking for like an hour. It was definitely a new feeling for me. And he came out and we had a nice chat. And then the officers inside the jail were tremendous. A couple of them made some jokes, I think, when they figured out, who I was and what happened and, how I ended up there. They this one older officer looked at me as I was doing like my fingerprints or whatever, and he looks at me, he goes, "So do you want the full experience today?" And I kind of looked at him, I was like, I don't know how to answer that. And he's like, "Come on, man, you want a sandwich?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll take a sandwich. I hadn't eaten breakfast yet." And so, they were really kind. I'm grateful to have. I'm grateful that we have, such strong police, and there are protectors out there. And like I said, we just got into a chaotic situation this morning. That's really all it was.
Mike 6, Jim.
Thanks, Scottie. In terms of the ability to compartmentalize, How difficult was that challenge for you today once you got on the course?
Yeah, like I said, my body was, I was shaking, almost, I would say in shock and in fear. And so coming out here and trying to play today was definitely a challenge, but I did my best to, control my mind, control my breathing, and, basically just calm down so I could come out here and try and play golf. I knew there was going to be a lot of distractions, but I didn't really know what the reception would be like. And to be honest with you, it was great having the fans behind me. They cheered for me really loud. I felt like they were really, really glad to have me out competing today, and it was a nice day to come out here and compete.
Over to Doug on 5.
Is there any concern? I mean, it's been a huge rush from 6 o'clock this morning. That when you have the afternoon and you have the night to kind of process this, how it'll affect you going into the weekend?
I'm going to go back to my normal routine now. I may go practice a touch this afternoon, depending on my energy levels after I eat, and then I'll probably go into the gym, go through my movements, and then see my trainer and go home and get some rest. So as far as the rest of the week goes, I'm going to do my best to kind of continue to calm down from this morning, continue to get my heart rate down, and get ready for a long weekend.
I'm just curious, what was your level of concern that you wouldn't make it back out here today? What was going through your head?
I mean, I didn't really know. I was just so confused at what was happening at the time that, I didn't know what time it was. I didn't know what was going on. But when I was sitting in like the holding cell or whatever, there was a TV there, and I could see myself on the TV on ESPN, and it was Get Up was on, and so in the corner it showed the time, and it said they were delayed, and I was kind of thinking about my tee time. I was like, well, maybe I could be able to get out. The officers downstairs had. They were discussing how long it was going to take me to get released. Obviously you have to go through all the due process and everything. And, I was able to kind of see a bit of the TV, and, then I laid down, and then I started to stretch a little bit once I got my heart rate down a little bit.
Up to Mike 16.
Scottie, did it ever cross your mind with you shaking and stuff that voluntarily not playing today and maybe going home? Did that ever cross your mind?
Not really, no.
Did any members of your team tell you anything today to like calm you down, just kind of reset before you went out?
Yeah, like I said, I was in shock, and so I was shaking, and it took me a little while, in the car on the way over here to kind of calm down. But my manager was in the car, and two gentlemen from the club were in the car with me, and yeah, we were able to talk, have a nice chat. They were. I'm not really going to get into the details of that either, but. Yeah, I was able to have a nice chat there. I got here, gave my mom and dad a hug. My coach Randy was there, Blake was there. My whole team was there for me. In a moment where I really needed them, especially to, like I said, I was in such shock at what was happening that I think I didn't stop shaking for a while just because it was a chaotic situation. And my team, I leaned on them pretty heavily this morning to kind of get me into the right frame of mind to where I could go out and play.
Right back here to Mike 14.
Scottie, with your ability to focus on the course, was it actually a relief that you had around to play?
I think for sure it was nice to be able to get inside the ropes and do what I love to do. I love competing out here on tour. I love playing in major championships, and I've kept myself in the tournament now with a pretty chaotic day, and so I'm going to go from here and focus on getting some rest and recovery and getting ready for a grind of the last 2 days, and we'll see how the leaderboard shakes out. But hopefully I won't be too far back going into tomorrow.
Back to Marty at 2.
I imagine the last thing you thought you'd be doing this morning was sitting in the back of a cop car cuffed. Within the shock and the fear and the confusion of that moment, what do you recall were some of the things that were spinning and racing through your mind?
I was just really confused. I was doing my best to diffuse the situation, really, and yeah, I was just sitting there just trying to remain as calm as possible. Like I said, it was pretty chaotic with what had happened this morning. Once again, I can't imagine what the family's going through. But like I said, I was doing my best to diffuse whatever was going on, and so I was just sitting there in the back of the car, just listening to the police officer as he's trying to figure out who I am, figure out my name. They were trying to find me in the system, but there was something wrong with going across state lines with the social security number and stuff like that. So it was. All around, it was a very, very confusing and chaotic situation, but I did my best to just follow instructions and do as I was told as I was sitting there handcuffed.
Up to Mike 18.
Scottie, did you ever say it to someone this morning, like, I'm Scottie Scheffler?
No. When they got me out of the car, like I said, it was very chaotic, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get to my tee time. And outside of that, things escalated from there. I did numerous apologies and whatever, but like I said, it was chaotic. It's dark, it's raining, there's a lot of stuff going on. They had just had an accident. I didn't know what had happened at the time, other than there was an accident. I didn't know that it was fatal. And yeah, like I said, my heart goes out to the family, but no, at no point did I try to name drop myself to diffuse the situation. I just tried to remain as calm as possible and just follow instructions.
Over to Mike 9.
At what point did you feel as if you were definitely going to make your tee time, or there would be some kind of exception made?
I didn't really feel like I would make my tee time until one of the officers at the jail came by my holding cell and knocked on the window and said, "Let's go." And he said, "Get ready," and I motioned like this to start rolling out my mat. And so then I poked my head at the TV and I was like, "Oh, I might be able to get there. We'll see how bad the traffic is getting in and out." But like I said, I'm just sitting there. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know what was going on out here. I didn't know how long the delay was. I mean, at the time, I couldn't even remember what my original tee time was. So I was just trying to do my best to stay calm. And when they took me out and we got in the car on the way here, I figured it was ready to play. And my manager asked me if I wanted to, and I was like, "Of course." And then we just came here and got ready to go play.
Got time for one more. We'll go up to Mike 19.
Scottie, just on the detail, how long were you actually in the cell for? And in the context of everything else, where among the sort of best rounds of your career would be a 66 after getting arrested?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how long I was in there. You don't have access to, I wasn't wearing a watch or didn't have access to my phone, so I couldn't tell you how long I was in there. But like I said, the officers at the jail were tremendous. I'm very grateful for, the people that serve, all of us across the nation. And as far as best rounds of my career, I would say it was pretty good. I definitely never imagined ever going to jail, and I definitely never imagined going to jail the morning before one of my tee times for sure. But yeah, like I said, I was grateful to be able to go out there and compete. And yeah, it was a nice round of golf. My heart goes out to the family. But outside of that, yeah, I'm glad to be out here competing, doing what I love.
Thanks for your time, Scottie.
Thank you.